Getting up super early every day failed! Sort of, but not really. So on last Wheezy Mondays, I told you about how I'm getting up at 4:30 a.m. every day, and I did it that day, I did it the next day, I did it the next day, and it was wonderful. But on the third day, I did have like a plugged up ear, and it felt weird, and I felt like I had like a sore throat coming on. And then the next day, I was really sick, like really swollen throat, and really fatigued, and I needed to lay in bed all the time. So then I stopped getting up super early and instead slept a lot. Ruined my experiment. I wanted to have a bunch of days so I could talk about it in the video, but now I have less days. But I'm going to get back to, I'm feeling better. Went to the doctor. They did a swabby and found out that it wasn't strep. It was something viral. And I guess that's what cured me, was the swabby. No, I was already, time just cured me. I'm kind of over it now. You can probably hear it a little bit in my voice. But it was terrible. It was terrible. But I'm going to go back to getting up super early tomorrow and the next day. And hopefully forever, because I really like it. I really enjoyed those first 3 days of getting up early. And I think it's going to be really good for me. It feels good. It's just good mentally, but it's also good for productivity. Truly does feel good to be the only person up in the house and have no distractions. And also, like, a big thing isn't necessarily the lack of distraction, but the lack of worry that you are distracting others or getting in other people's way. Like, I could take a shower and take as long as I want. I mean, you got to preserve water. That's a different issue. But we live near the Great Lakes. We're fine. It's the largest body of fresh water in the world, of the Great Lakes together. We're fine until the rest of the world starts running out of water, and then there's the water wars. And everyone's gonna be fighting us. I better stock up on some weapons. Anyway, it feels really good to not have to worry about bothering other people or worry about, like, maybe China needs some help with the baby right now. I should go help instead of being here selfishly plugging away at my vanity projects. But then also not being distracted. Like, once in a while, the baby will want to walk into the office, and she'll walk in, and I can't not pay attention to her. She's adorable. So it feels really good to be up early. It feels really good to go to bed, make sure I go to bed early and make sure I'm getting enough sleep. That's the newest thing for this, because there have been periods of time in the past where I have gotten up early, like early Wheezy Waiter days. I would get up at, like, I committed to getting up at, I had a job where I could go to work as early as 8 a.m. or as late as 10 a.m. And then depending on when I came in, I'd just have to be there for 8 hours. But I would always go in at 10 a.m. But I would get up I committed to 5:45 so that I could make a video before going to work every weekday for a while, early days of Wheezy Waiter. And that was like one of the most productive times of my life, and it was all due to getting up early. But I didn't pay attention to when I was going to sleep. It was in my 20s. I made bad choices. So it probably wasn't healthy, and I didn't necessarily feel good. I was tired. But I was productive, and that's still true. Like, getting up early really helps with the productivity. But now I'm paying attention to when I go to bed, and we were watching Napoleon Dynamite. Holds up, by the way. Holds up. But I had to stop, like, halfway through. A lot of the way through, to go to bed because it was time for bed, which I haven't done in a long time. I'm normally just like, whatever, I'll just do whatever, and then I just stay up too late, and then I have to get up, and I don't feel good. But now I'm paying attention to when I go to bed, and then getting up super early, lining it up so it's super early, so I have that me time in the morning to get good work done and to have good spiritual Craigness, my nickname in college. Anyway, yeah, which is weird because, like, they could have just called me Craig, which would have been a lot more efficient. But nicknames don't always have to be efficient. So they were like, hey, what's up, spiritual Craigness? It's a lot of syllables, a lot of consonants like rubbing up against each other. College was a weird time. Anyway, getting up super early is great, and I want to get back to it, and I'm going to continue it the rest of my damn life. But it really sucks that I had to stop, and that being sick was horrible. Some patrons on Patreon told me that, or one patron anyway, told me that there was something going around. It sounded like they had the same thing. And another friend of mine sounded like they had the same thing. So watch out. Wash your hands. Don't lick strangers. That's the moral of today's video. And I do these kind of talky talk vlogs every weekday over on Patreon. If you want to support me over there, I'm putting that on the screen. And check out my web series video if you haven't. I put that one up last week. So it's a fun romp, we'll call it. And that's all. Don't be a dingus. Happy Monday.